r/AskReddit, what made you laugh the hardest in your entire life? Told the story before, but it's still one of my favorites. Small child, maybe 4 years old, is running with two 2-liter bottles of soda. Maybe it was root beer. Lots of bouncing already. Then she trips. Bottles go flying and she face plants. She lifts her head up to cry. And just then, at that perfectly timed moment, the cap blows off one of the bottles into her face, spraying her with soda and foam. Her mother runs over, still pushing the shopping cart for some reason, and naturally, slips on the other soda and, trying to catch herself, grabs the side of the shopping cart. She and cart tip over. A bag of flour explodes and covers the sticky child. All of this was done with the precision of a 1940s comedy short. It was really impressive. And sadly, I did not get to film it. This is the only one on here to make me actually laugh out loud. I have a Ukrainian co-worker who was several decades older than me, and is a super serious, pretty strange guy. He has a very stereotypical old-school Soviet style to him. He always speaks and identifies as Russian. He heard my friend and I telling trivial amusing stories to each other on a break, and joined our little circle with the biggest smile on his face, looking to join in and relate. He explains that when he was in university he had a car, but his friends destroyed his car by literally bludgeoning it to pieces and then beat him viciously as a prank. You know, as friends do. Then he could barely get through the next part of the story. He was laughing so hard when he explained that from then on he had to run to and from university. He said he ran so often with his bag that he ended up separating his abdominal muscles and severely injuring himself. By this point my friend and I are dying from laughter too. So our comrade feels great about his smash hit of a story and heads back to his desk. I still won't go in a room alone with that guy. Ha 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 ha. It never healed property. Every breath is agony, son. Ha 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 ha. My friend is from Japan. One time, she was trying to say I was sitting on the bed, and instead she said, I shit the bed. I knew what she had meant to say, but I started laughing uncontrollably, something that was not helped by her yelling, no 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 no, upon realizing she had royally ducked up that sentence. My mom had a Japanese co-worker who would always come over and bring us snacks. This one time she brought us these sweet apples, and she was trying to suggest we eat them with penis butter. Kyoko, you mean peanut butter? Yes, penis butter. I had to leave the room. My 12-year-old self did not have the maturity to handle her accent, but neither did my 45-year-old dad. I teach Japanese students. A passage in our textbook reads she sits in the car and 7/10 students would read it as shits. I learned how truly professional I can be by never giggling by the mental image of she shits in the car, followed by her dad drives the car. He drives to a car wash. Makes me laugh when I'm off duty. Standing on the sidewalk next to one of those metal electrical boxes, my little sister is standing between me and the box. Facing me, she shouts tag year IT, and spins around to run away at a full sprint. She slams into the box just like Wile E. Coyote running into a wall. I have never laughed so hard in my life. The people passing by afterward just saw a 6-year-old crying next to an adult laughing her ass off uncontrollably on the ground. Eventually I composed myself and picked her up and told her she'll be alright. I felt so bad, but damn if I wasn't suppressing giggles the whole way home. What is the age gap between you and your sister? 12-year gap. Happened a couple years ago. What's the age gap now? It was in summer this year actually. There was a middle-aged couple walking in front of me with ice creams. The guy obviously didn't see the step ledge on the floor coming up and tripped over it. As he tripped over, his flailing arm shoved the ice cream right onto an oncoming child's forehead. The ice cream cone stayed in place for a couple of seconds before it slid off. The kid looked like a ducking unicorn. I was literally crying with laughter and it was so hard to compose myself. You had to be there, but OMG, the funniest scene of events ever. Like 9-10 years ago I was at a stoplight with my friend after gorging ourselves nearly to death at a CC's Pizza. We were in a lane to turn left, and a few cars up going straight were stopped as well. Suddenly, the back window rolls down and this like 13-year-old kid sticks his head out the window, looks into the driver's mirror, and starts professionally sucking the biggest imaginary dong you've ever seen. Like he was going to Ducking Town. Me and my friend are in tears, hyperventilating, we're laughing so hard. He stops abruptly, turns and looks straight at us, still laughing hysterically, and gives us this like of who the hell are you to laugh at me, for like 20 seconds, and then goes back to sucking that imaginary dong. This went on for maybe a minute and a half, and we were crying the whole 30 minutes drive home. I still judge funny things on a scale of 1 to kid sucking imaginary dong at a stoplight. In college, my roommates and I had a fun ritual for putting away our groceries after shopping. There were so many of them we had to find a fun way to do it. I posted myself with all the bags in the dining room and the other 4 posted in the kitchen. Then I'd just start throwing the stuff at them. Pretty quick, I might add. It didn't matter if it was glass, milk jugs, soda. It got thrown, and they always caught it, until one day I threw a gallon of orange juice. They all thought someone else had it and it ended up exploding all over the kitchen. A gallon of anything is a lot when it's suddenly all over the floor. We all started laughing while trying to clean it up. Tears and everything. But then one of my roommates looked at all of us and said it's a good thing it wasn't milk. Otherwise this would have been an utter catastrophe. At that, we all broke down laughing. On the ground. In the orange juice. It was just too perfect. Our abs and faces hurt so much from all the laughing. In conclusion, I miss my roommates. Edit. Extraneous word. During the peak of those what intonation memes, my college buddies and I road tripped from Michigan to No for Mardi Gras during our spring break. About 10 hours in, when we were already feeling really goofy bored from the long trip, a tire rolled across the highway in front of the car. My friend, while the tire is still crossing our path, screams what in Nathan, and that stupid ass joke is the hardest I've ever laughed. This is ducking hilarious on my own. It was by far the quickest off the cuff joke I've ever heard. I was driving and barely registered there was something in the road. The dude is incredibly intelligent, so I think his brain is just really fast. His brain must have a bandwidth upgrade. Meanwhile, here I am still going on a 900 baud modem up there. Sigh. This school near my house had closed down, so me and my 4 brothers went there pretty frequently one summer and essentially made it our personal playground. One day we were there playing basketball, riding our skateboards and whatnot when a cop drives past the school and sees us messing around in there. Obviously we weren't supposed to be there and we got spooked, so we bailed and went to hop the fence and run home. All my brothers can manage the fence well, and we're throwing our bikes over and trying to get the hell out of there before the cop turns the corner. He probably would have just told us to go home. But we were young and worried. As I turn to grab one of the bikes, I look over at my youngest brother, who was probably around 6 or 7 at the time. Got himself caught on the fence as he was coming down. He managed to give himself the most ultimate wedgie I've ever seen. He wasn't holding himself up on anything, but he was suspended up in the air hanging by his underwear. All of us just stopped trying to rush home and started howling with laughter to the point where we could hardly help my screaming brother down from his wedgie. I still remember seeing his ass cheeks hanging out from his wedgie as he was crying, begging for help. Probably my favorite childhood memory. Edit. I told my brother who got the wedgie to guess what I wrote as the story that made me laugh the hardest, and he guessed it on his first try. Haha, thanks for telling me all your wedgie escapades as well. This exact same thing happened to me, except I was an 18-year-old girl. Haha. I was playing sand volleyball with a bunch of guys and girls. The ball goes over this 3 or 4 foot high chain link fence, so I go grab it. I hop it, but my shorts and underwear get caught on the top of the fence. It was just tall enough that my toes barely touched the ground, and so I couldn't use my feet to lift myself off. I was just sort of hanging there, mooning every guy and girl behind me. I finally used what little arm strength I had to lift myself up and unhook my shorts. When I went back to the court, every single person was on the ground laughing. At a party, someone started a riding lawnmower up, turned the steering wheel to the left and put it in high gear so it ran around in circles. It was funny at first but got annoying after a while, so we tried to shut it off. The problem is it was moving pretty fast and we were all too drunk to catch it. Every time one of us would try to grab it and hop on, we would miss, fall over and get ran over by the lawnmower. It got so funny watching everyone try that we couldn't stop laughing. We eventually started throwing rocks at it, which was even funnier trying to see drunk people try and aim a rock at a moving object. This went on for a good hour before it ran out of gas. People got run over by it. Edit. Thank you all. Didn't realize there was a bladeless option. Many died. In the funniest way possible. Blood pours along the street as people cheer and laugh. Flesh shredding buzzing sound. In a college cafeteria, my friend and I sit down with a few guys we knew a bit but not really well. My friend starts asking them what they like just in a totally vague and weird way, but very much his style. He then proceeds to say I like, and then lists completely random things for at least 30 minutes, probably more. They sat there with very confused looks on their faces. I was sick with what I found out was mono and my throat was absolutely killing me. I thought I might die from the pain of laughter. I came across this guy on Xbox Live with the name Bilbo T. Baggins. IDKY my brother and I were crying laughing. I'd always see a guy playing named Sand Sanitizer. It was so simple and stupid, but just so inexplicably funny. Duck that rolls off the tongue so easy I'll never be able to pronounce hand sanitizer again. We have seat heaters in our car, and one day the wife said turn on the heat seaters. Now both of us can't stop saying it. So at lunch in HS my friend group had one kid who was always the butt of the joke. Let's call him Simon. Simon always got made fun of, because well, he was an awkward kid. There was only 4 of us and sometimes Simon took it a little hard. So when walking with him to lunch I told him that he's gotta push back and not just take it or nobody will respect him. I told him that when the other people bust his chops he's gotta say some shit back and I'll back him up. We get to lunch and I'm thinking I just imparted some great wisdom in this kid. When we see our buddies Parthik and Ranello laughing at some stupid joke, Simon, thinking they're laughing at him, stomps right up to them with a smile of malice on his face. Something funny, Ranello? He says as Ranello is in hysterics. Simon then grabs his pizza stick, the lunch entree, dips it ketchup, and smears it all over Ranello's face. You like that, you cheesy duck? Simon says. The hysterical laughter at the table, which was not directed at Simon before, now is. Ranello is now laughing at the absurdity of the situation, unable to get a word out, as Simon is molesting his face with a pizza stick, asking him if he's enjoying, as Ranello mouths the words what the duck, between bouts of laughter. Eventually things calm down and they explain to Simon that they were not, in fact, laughing at him when he approached the table. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. Thanks for watching mate. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more high quality content.